Hello again. September is World Alzheimer's Month. It's set aside in order to raise awareness and the worldwide need to find potential treatments and cures. Alzheimer's is a progressive illness that destroys memory cells and other important mental functions. While there's currently no cure for this disease, preliminary studies suggest rooibos and extract may reduce the risk of contracting Alzheimer's. Professor Ben Loos from the University of Stellenbosch joins us now for more on this. Prof, good afternoon. Welcome to today. You are one of the researchers who was busy with this study commissioned by the South African Rooibos Council. And you found, you're going to share that with us, you found that the rooibos has a potential to protect the onset against neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's.
Yes, correct. So thank you very much for having me, and good afternoon. Correct. So what we have been working on, we grow cells in the dish. We call that in the dish. And we've exposed these cells to rooibos tea extract. And we found that the cells are performing much better, specifically with particular organelles that are very important for cellular health, the mitochondria. So we are quite excited about these findings, and you're very right. These are kind of the molecular signs that make the cells healthier so that the risk is being reduced.
When did you start this study?
So we have been focusing on Alzheimer's disease for more than 10 years in my lab. The rooibos-related work we started 2 years ago. And so we are quite excited to actually use something that is, known to us in South Africa, and that one can also utilize. So since 2 years, this work has been going on, and we hope to continue with it.
What do you think are the properties in these extracts from rooibos that are assisting in creating, let's call it, a healthy brain function?
It's a very good question. So we have to go back there and ask, what are the properties of the cells that are failing as the cell is becoming sick in the progression of Alzheimer's disease, right? It goes on for many, many years. The cells become sicker and sicker, then start to die. And then only when many cells have died, the first symptoms are manifesting. So the properties that the rooibos tea is acting on structures like the mitochondria. So these are organelles that generate ATP or energy. And in that process, there is oxidative stress, reactive oxygen species being generated. And we think that rooibos tea is acting in that environment and is helping to maintain better, we call this homeostasis in the cells, and reducing those kind of stressful factors for the cell.
I mean, this is very early stages of your research in terms of rooibos particularly. It's only been a 2-year journey. You've got some promising preliminary findings. I guess the test will come when you have to do, I don't know if you'll get there, human clinical trials in terms of testing it in the real world scenarios. How far are you from that point?
It's absolutely correct. So we are still far away from that because, not too far, but we want to ask one additional very important question. We are able in the lab to create cells that switch on these faulty proteins in Alzheimer's disease. That cells that then produce amyloid beta, which makes kind of the cells, toxifies the cells. And we would want to show first how the rooibos tea extract is operating when the cell is kind of developing those pathologies. Once that is done, which we call in vitro studies, then the next step would be really to go into clinical trials. And given that rooibos tea can be consumed, human work on human blood would be very, very exciting for us.
Yeah, how far are you from that stage?
It is not too far, given that rooibos tea is, you can purchase it, and so there is no risk associated with it. one could envisage that within the next 2 years, certainly.
Yeah, that's not far at all. I mean, you sound excited, and it's very promising. What in terms of your lab experiments, what form has this rooibos extracts been put into those cells? Has it been straight like when you and I drink the tea, or did you have to extract a fermented form or non-fermented form?
Great question. So correct, we did both. So we extracted this through a method called freeze drying. But first we create a tea, like you and I would make a tea, and we have then used fermented and non-fermented, so the red and green tea version, and we've created an extract that would result in an equivalent of the consumption of 3 cups or 6 cups per day, and we have utilize those and expose the cells to those extracts, so really to mimic what the cells would experience. And so that is what we, that is the process that we follow in the lab. And then we utilize high-end imaging technologies, these so-called confocal super resolution microscopy techniques, to see these neurons in live, how they respond to that extract. And that creates some kind of unique data that are very close to, how healthy the cell is performing.
Prof, thank you very much. And we wish you well as you continue this very important research, because the world will, this month, marking Alzheimer's month, creating awareness about the disease where there has no cure yet or treatment. Thanks, Prof. Ben Loos, Stellenbosch University, a researcher commissioned, one of the researchers commissioned by the South African Rooibos Council to look into the positive, promising impact of some parts or extracts of rooibos on the brains in helping to prevent the onset of Alzheimer's disease. Another 2 years, we'll find out if it really works in the real world.